Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Today, I have great stories for you all, and the first one has an update. But before we get started, I'd like to recognize all of you who support me in so many different ways. If you want to skip this part, you can just use the timestamps on the video. Now, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Kiria Karika as the newest YouTube channel member. And of course, a big thank you once again to all the channel members and Twitch subscribers for their support. And if this is the first time watching one of my videos and you like it, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining us on Discord. All the relevant links are in the description below. Now let's get started with today's stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's from user No to Family. Am I the a-hole for respecting my late wife's wishes about keeping her family out? My wife unfortunately passed away last year when our daughter was only 3 months old. It was very difficult to get through, but my little girl and I are keeping it together. My daughter is 16 months now, and there's been pressure from my wife's sister to let her side of the family see my daughter. The issue is my wife had absolutely no contact with her family since she was 18, so 16 years of not seeing them. Her home life was something she never wanted to talk about. It always made her upset, so I never pushed her to tell me. All I know is they were manipulative and abusive in some form. She left as soon as she was 18, changed her last name, and never spoke to them again. 4 years ago, we got into contact with her older sister, and she's the only person my wife allowed into our lives. By that, I mean we met through video chat, but never actually in person. We still maintained contact after my wife passed, and we met a couple times before and during my wife's funeral. My sister-in-law called me a few weeks ago. She mentioned her parents would really like to meet their granddaughter and want to start over. They didn't attend my wife's funeral because they knew she wouldn't want them to be there. One thing my wife always made clear is that she did not want them near our daughter, ever. Telling my sister-in-law this, well, she got very upset. She said it's been years, and yes, her parents were awful people. Again, won't say exactly what they did, but losing their daughter has made them reflect on things, and they want to meet my daughter since my wife never gave them that chance. She's still trying to convince me, and so far I've said no. Each time I just feel more and more bad for denying them, but it's what my wife wanted. Her parents found my Facebook, pretty sure sister-in-law might have told them, and I've gotten dozens of messages begging me to let my daughter know her mom's side of the family, and I shouldn't keep her from knowing her grandparents for past mistakes. None of them will leave me alone, and sister-in-law has said a few times that I may be grieving losing a wife, but to have some empathy for them losing a child, because right now I'm being too heartless for denying them the chance to meet the only piece of my wife they have left. I'm at my wit's end with this because I'm not sure if I'm being an a-hole or not. I don't know the whole reason why my wife never wanted to see them again. Even if I did though, I'd still like to honor her wish. The way they are being, however, makes it hard not to wonder if I am. I think I could be an a-hole for respecting my late wife's wishes, but going against what her family wants. Well, OP, in my opinion, this is a no-brainer. Stand your ground and respect your wife's wishes. There's a reason why she didn't want them close to your daughter. You should honor that. They're going to cry you rivers and oceans and try to tell you how mean you are. None of that really matters. The only thing that matters is what did your wife want? That's it. So to me, you are not the a-hole. But what about you guys? What do you think about OP and what do you think OP should do? Let me know in the comment section, and in the meantime, let's continue with the community comments to see their judgment. Birdie Pit says, not the a-hole. Quote, all I know is they were manipulative and abusive in some form. End quote. The best prediction of future behavior is past behavior. Quote, none of them will leave me alone. I'm at my wit's end with this because I'm not sure if I'm being an a-hole or not. End quote. You're getting a glimpse of their manipulative tactics. Quote, One thing my wife always made clear is that she did not want them near our daughter ever. End quote. Honor her wish. Puglove91 says, not the a-hole. Do not let them have anything to do with your daughter. The last thing you want is to allow them to have a relationship with your daughter, and then after a while you see exactly why your wife didn't want anything to do with them. Because depending where you live, if they have an established relationship with your daughter, they can go for grandparents' rights. As of right now, they have no grounds. Cut the sister-in-law off too. She's just giving you a taste of how toxic the rest of your wife's family are. Protect your child. OP responds, thank you for your advice. With everything on my plate, it's just been so overwhelming, and now this whole situation. I want to be able to honor my wife's wishes, whatever the reason was that made her cut all contact with them. Erican Girl says, not the a-hole. The fact that all of them are bombarding you with guilt trips and completely ignoring your boundaries shows you at least partially why your wife ran away from them and wanted nothing to do with them. Seems like sister-in-law is just as bad as her parents. Maybe it's time to block all of them. Well, everybody definitely agrees that OP is not the a-hole and he should just cut contact with all of them, avoid their calls, block them, and even let go of his contact with the sister-in-law. Now, this original post is from a month ago and we have an update from yesterday. So let's continue with that to see what OP ended up doing. Thank you everyone for all the lovely comments and support. I was really worn down with this whole ordeal, so all your input was so very appreciated. There was a lot of you that expressed your concerns about what my wife's family's intentions were and warned me about taking precautions to keep my daughter safe. I have taken these into consideration and have made steps to ensure they have no access to any information that could disclose our location. And yes, in the end, I did decide it was best to cut off all contact, not only with my wife's parents, but her sister too. I tried to get through to her many times about why I'd like to respect my wife's call on this, since she knew her family best and what they did. Despite all the reassurance that her parents have changed, she still refused to actually say what went down, so that was not at all convincing for me. Once I blocked them all, I was getting calls from different numbers the following days. I sent one final message to her sister stating they're never allowed near me or my daughter, and if they ever tried to come harass us, I will get authorities involved. Since then, it was radio silence for the last couple weeks, but I decided to play it safe a few days ago and changed my phone number. I've also deleted my Facebook since I don't use it that often, but have put my other social media accounts on private. Got many great suggestions from many of you about how to make sure they have absolutely no access to my daughter, so I really appreciate that. I've saved a few of these comments in case I need some extra tips in the future as my daughter gets older and starts school. Since I last posted and have cut contact, I feel like I can finally breathe. You have no idea how stressful and draining the whole thing was for me, so really, thank you all for the help. I've been more at peace putting this all behind me and focusing on my beautiful little girl. Just wanted to leave this update since I know there was a lot of concern about how this would all play out. Thanks again, internet strangers. Smiley face. And there you go. OP followed community advice and now he is calm and the family is not bugging him anymore. So good for you, OP. You keep your daughter safe. That's the one thing that matters here. So now that we know that this story is having a happy ending, how about we move on to the next post? This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's from the user ThrowArrayIsThis9. Girlfriend, 19 female, slides into my 19 male DMs using her best friend's 18 female phone as a prank. A little while ago, I got a text from my girlfriend's best friend asking me how it's going. I was doing some work, so I responded, boring. She said, let's make it not boring, which set off all the alarms. For some context, she is the most awkward person I know and would never even think of sliding into anyone's DMs. She would literally ask someone to ask for ketchup for her. I assumed that someone snatched her phone or she lost a bet or something. So I ask who it is. She says, "Your future side chick." I call up my girlfriend, send her a screenshot of the conversation so far, and ask her what she thinks is going on. Or if they were together and she was playing a prank on me through her phone. She says she has no idea, but she will call her best friend to figure out what is going on. She says that they FaceTime, and best friend said that I was flirting with her. Because best friend is so awkward, she has a lying face, and my girlfriend said that she was pretty sure that best friend was not lying. She told me she was sent screenshots of me flirting with best friend, and that she was not the type of person to forge screenshots and play a joke like this, and that I was. She was telling me that I was taking this joke too far. I ended up calling other friends to try to figure out if anyone was with her to do this, but they all were doing different things. My girlfriend said she was at home. I called my girlfriend 4 times over about an hour and a half trying to figure out who was behind the phone. I even asked her to make sure that I was getting texted by the right number. I wanted to call best friend to see if she was the one actually texting me, but she was not picking up. She is known to not pick up most calls unless they were from my girlfriend. Girlfriend agrees to call best friend and merges me there while I'm muted so I can hear what best friend is telling girlfriend. They just talk about what my girlfriend told me, how I was sexting best friend, etc. Eventually, she reveals that it was a prank, that she was at best friend's house and she was going to let me know that it was a prank earlier when I stopped thinking it was funny. But it was just too funny to stop. Too funny meaning she enjoyed watching me try to prove my innocence to her, knowing that I was believing everything she said. I get off the phone furious, and I spend around an hour thinking of ways that I could get them back. I even called girlfriend back to apologize for ending the phone call that way, so that when I struck, there would be no suspicion that it was me doing it out of spite. I was planning on staging myself getting caught cheating in a few weeks, then break up with girlfriend over the new girl, only to reveal afterwards that I was effing with her mind. There was no new girl and that it was just a prank, bro. After calming down, I realized that being petty and reciprocating her actions would not yield a positive outcome, and talking to my girlfriend about how I feel about her prank would be in my best interest. Throughout this whole ordeal, I was wholeheartedly trusting her. There were so many holes in her story. She took close to a minute to merge the calls, clearly planning what to say to the best friend. She didn't trust the screenshots I sent even before best friend sent the screenshots that threatened the legitimacy of mine, and so much more. This is what has me worried. I'm not overthinking a simple prank. It seems as if I'm wearing rose-tinted glasses. I haven't told anyone about this yet, except someone on Discord who I don't know in real life. They think I should break up with her, but their philosophy was don't trust bitches, only have O's, not a girlfriend, so I'm not too keen on trusting their advice. So I'm looking for opinions. Am I overthinking this and it's just a funny prank, or am I right to be upset? Well, OP, it's my understanding that pranks should be funny, right? And you said yourself that you were furious. I'm not really the prankster type, so I don't know much about pranks, but I would think a whoopee cushion would be a prank. A flower that throws water in your face, sure. This was not a prank because you did not enjoy any of it. And the part that really worries me is that she found it too funny to stop. She enjoyed watching you squirm trying to prove that you weren't cheating or anything like that. I think your girlfriend's an idiot, and the best friend is just as much an idiot as her for going along with this stupid prank. So to answer your question, no, I don't think this is just a funny prank, and you have every right to be upset. The good thing is that you didn't go with your idiotic plan of making yourself getting caught cheating and then saying it was a prank, because that's just as stupid. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section if you think this was actually a really funny prank, or if the girlfriend is way out of bounds on this one. In the meantime, let's go check out the community comments to see what they have to say about this thing. Lockdown Lockout says, pro-life tip, pranks are not funny unless everyone is laughing. If someone isn't laughing, then it's bullying dressed up as a prank so the pranked can defend themselves. It was too funny to stop. You need to lighten up. Chill out, everyone was laughing. Are just defenses the prankster uses to convince themselves they are not an a-hole. Your RA resource says, unfortunately, their advice is probably right. That was a dangerous game she played, and she did it to see if she could trust you, meaning she doesn't trust you. What if you entertained the DMs? She'd have broken up with you, and rightfully so. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you're not ready to jump to that yet, the two of you need to have a long conversation about boundaries and trust. You might want to take a step back and really ask yourself if this is the only time her insecurities have come out in full force. If not, walking away is a no-brainer. OP responds, I do need to have a talk with her about why she did it. From what I gathered, they both think it was a funny prank, not a test of loyalty. Soul and Shadow 2 says, don't you dare apologize to her, that's just effing ridiculous. I'm admittedly on the line about breaking up with, honestly. You need to call her out for her childish, immature crap, and if the relationship is a joke to her, maybe you need a new girlfriend. Well, it sounds to me like the community is aligned on OP having to talk to his girlfriend. Now, I don't know, maybe it's just the skeptical in me, but I kinda get the feeling that the girlfriend is gonna do her best to downplay this whole thing and to maybe gaslight OP. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the next post. This one's from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? And it's from user FunC8083. Am I the a-hole for not giving my daughter the basement suite after I renovated it only because she refused to give up her room upstairs? I've been remarried for 2 years now and we recently had a son. I also have a 14-year-old daughter from my first marriage and a 12 and 9-year-old stepsons. When my wife was 5 months pregnant, I asked my daughter if she could swap rooms with my stepsons. We had only 4 bedrooms at the time, and my daughter had the largest room. Our plan was for my daughter to take the second largest room, my stepsons to share her larger room, and convert the smallest room into a nursery. I thought this was a fairly reasonable request to ask, but my daughter made it into a huge fight. And worse was when my ex got involved, who then threatened to take me to court to reduce my custody of my daughter all over a room. This caused way too much stress at home and I gave in, which I do regret now. But I then proceeded to renovate the basement suite, with my father's help. The basement now had the largest bedroom with a lounge and a full bathroom. It's very easily the nicest part of the house. The kids then started fighting over who would move down there, and I very firmly told my daughter that I renovated it because she refused to give up her room. So my 12-year-old stepson gets to move down there. I don't know if it's just puberty, but my daughter has become extremely hostile and downright mean over this. She no longer comes over as much as before, citing the unfair room as the reason. My ex fully supports her, and I have to wait 5 months before I can even fight this in court. At this point, I'm not even sure it's worth the legal cost because she'll be 15 in December and her opinion will count in the court. Am I the a-hole for not giving in to my daughter's frankly bratty demands? It's killing me that my daughter feels like I'm pushing her out of the family, but I want to stay true to what I think is right. All attempts to get us in family therapy has been denied by my ex, and my poor father now feels terrible because he's been partly blamed since he helped me with the renovations. And this one I'm going to leave absolutely to all of you. Let me know in the comment section if you think OP is or not the a-hole, and in the meantime, let's go check out those community comments to see their judgment. The Final Frontier says, I don't think you're an a-hole, but you haven't handled this well. Your daughter is in that awkward teen phase, and if the initial room was always hers, assuming your wife and stepsons moved into your house, then I can totally see her feeling displaced in favor of the new family and the new baby. I think it depends on how you asked her and explained the situation. She now sees a nice fancy room downstairs and her stepbrother gets it and feels further punished. Not saying she's right and she's definitely acting bratty and entitled, but you might want to examine why your daughter feels so displaced when she visits or lives with you. not the a-hole for this situation specifically. VT Flashmob says, not the a-hole. If there is one here, it's your ex. Your request of your daughter was reasonable given the dynamics of the children in the household. At 14, she's old enough to understand this, but it sounds like there are other things at play that are influencing her behavior. The divorce, your ex poisoning the well, trying to blend families, and her feeling pushed out, that make me feel empathetic towards her. Alishinia Lives Still says, OP, if you do go back to court, please bring up parental alienation to the judge because I bet your ex is hardcore influencing this. So, now we know what the community thinks, and that is that OP is not the a-hole, but there are some pretty insightful comments that should allow OP to dig in a little further. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing and it is fantastic. The links are in the video description below, along with other links like my Twitch, where I also live stream Reddit stories live every Monday through Friday. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.